Alright, here's the second video as I kind of show you some tools you'll be using in your house project. In this one we're going to cover floors and interior walls as well as laying in some doors and some components. Once you know that, you pretty much can take care of anything you can imagine, at least at this point. So we are going to start with putting a floor in. So on the architecture tab, going over to floor, this goes kind of gray, and this brings up the draw menu again. I can go with a line and I can kind of draw where I want the outside of that flooring to be. Remember, I'm in level 1 floor plan, looking straight down at it. I can go to the rectangle tool and I can click and drag across. I'm going to use this tool down here. It's called Pick Walls. So I'm going to choose that one, and then I can simply just click on that wall, on this wall, on this wall, and that wall. And you'll see a pink line that kind of goes around the outside perimeter of it. If you happen to have clicked on those walls and your pink line is on the inside, you should see a set of double arrows either on this side or that side. And if you click on those double arrows, that pink line will flip to the inside. Click on the double arrows again, it flips back to the outside. You want it on the outside. So once you have it on the outside, click the green checkbox. Okay, at this point, the blue is a highlighted version of the floor, and this is going to allow us to make some changes to the floor. So right now it's just a generic 12-inch floor. Just like we did our walls, we're going to edit type, and we will duplicate, and I'm going to call this tiny house floor, and I'm going to click OK. Once I have my tiny house floor, I'm going to click edit, and the structure by category once again is going to start with the lumber. So LUM, there's lumber. Click OK, and the thickness right now it's set to 1 foot thick. I'm going to select this whole thing, and I want it to be 0 feet space 5.5 inches. That's the thickness of a 2x6 actually piece of lumber, so 5.5 inches. And then I'm going to insert on top of that, I'm going to put some more plywood sheathing. So just like a carpenter who's building a house would have to put down the wood and then the sheathing on top of that, I'm going to choose plywood. We as the architect need to kind of build it the same way. So plywood sheathing, and once again I'm going to make that 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to insert on top of that by category. I'm going to insert flooring. So when I type in flooring, I've got a bunch of different choices here. There's some tile and some vinyl. I'm going to choose oak flooring. When you get into your project, I will actually show you how you can do carpet and stuff like that, but I'm going to do oak flooring, and you can even change the color of your oak flooring. If I wanted it to be a dark brown oak floor, I can come down and change the color of brown. Click OK, click OK. And I'm going to give that oak flooring a thickness of 0.5 inches. Click OK. So we've just built our floor. Click OK, and all of a sudden you can see the stripings of that floor. It's still blue because it's still highlighted, but if you click off of it, you'll see the brown highlights pop up. Alright, just to take a peek, let's look at it in the 3D view. Asking if I want to save. If you're working on your tiny house, you probably want to take advantage of these opportunities to save. Because this is just a demo, I'm going to cancel off of the save. Remember, you want to be saving that to your Google Drive file stream. Okay, now I don't know what happened to all my colors, but if this ever happens to you, look down again at those rectangles and change your detail to fine and shaded, and that'll give you back your colors in that particular view. So you can see kind of the floor, and same as in Inventor, if I hold the shift key down while I press the wheel, I can roll my mouse around and see it from different vantage points. You can also do the same thing up here with clicking on the cube. All right, so there I have my floor in place. Let's go back to your floor plan, and I'm going to put a wall subdivided in there to split up maybe a bathroom or a bedroom or something like that. So I'm going to click on wall, and this time I'm going to actually build my wall before I draw it. So I'm going to go to edit type, duplicate, and just like everything else, I'm going to start with tiny house. That way it's easy for me to find later. Tiny house, INT for interior wall. Click OK and edit. And I'd like for this thing, once again, the core of it's going to be lumber. Click OK. And the thickness is going to be a 2x4. And if you remember, that's 3.5 inches. I'm going to insert above a piece of drywall. So on the inside of the house, we don't have sheathing or plywood or siding. We have drywall, gypsum wall board. Click OK, and that's going to be a 1/2 inch thick. And I'm going to insert another layer, but remember I want this to be on the other side of my stud, so I'm going to move it down, down till it's underneath my softwood. And I'm going to make this another layer of drywall. Click OK. Thickness again is going to be 1/2 inch. Click OK, click OK. Now if you look up here, I have my basic wall, tiny house interior. When I go to draw it, that's what's going to be selected. If I wanted to add some stuff to the exterior, I can find tiny house exterior that I created earlier, and it would have the parameters from what I set up earlier. But I want the interior with the drywall on both sides. As I go to draw, you can see there's some dimensions on there. So I'm just going to click and kind of lay out kind of a wall that goes from there to there. Hit escape to drop the wall. Escape twice. If I want to actually position this wall in a particular spot, I can click on the wall and it will show me the distance. I can click on that distance and I can say I want that to be 8 feet, not 8 feet 6. So I just type in 8 and it'll move the wall. If I click on that wall, I can change the dimension there to be, let's say 10 feet. There we go. Doesn't matter, I'm just kind of making up numbers. Now let's see if we're learning some things. So if I go back to my 3D view, whoops, that wall is now taller than that wall. Well, if you remember what we did before is we selected the wall, so I can click this wall. If I click this wall is selected and that wall is not selected anymore. But if I hold the shift button down, actually the control button, sorry, if I hold the control button, it will allow me to select both those walls at the same time. Selecting both those walls at the same time, I can go back over here and say my top constraint is level 2. And they will drop down to the same height as the exterior walls. So there we go. And that's how you would put in an interior wall. Next thing that I want to show you is putting in a door. So let's go to your floor plan level 1. Make sure you're not clicking on your ceiling plan level 1. Make sure you're always on the floor plan level 1. And I'm going to drop an exterior door in here. So architecture, click on door. If I hit the drop down, I've got these generic doors here and I don't like any of them. They're very basic. So I'm going to show you where in Revit you can find a bunch of other door styles and windows and everything else. So once doors are selected, go over here to load family, and up will come kind of a series of folders. And the folder that it begins with is US Imperial. So if you ever get off of this US Imperial, you can find it over here on the side right there. It's called Imperial Library. Okay, so if it pops up with your desktop, you can just click on Imperial Library. So that's what the L is. It's kind of cut off there, but Imperial Library. Click on that and you get back to that US Imperial folder. Alright, I'm going to search down for doors, and there's my folder with all my doors in it. Double click it, and this has a preview. Yours might look like this. It might look just like a list. I think yours is going to look just like a list. But if you click on residential, that's like your house styles. You can also see a lot of these doors. A lot of those are for commercial applications, but if you double click on residential, you can see exterior doors, interior doors. I'm going to look for an exterior door. So as I click down, I can look at the preview. And yeah, I kind of like the arch door. I'm going to click open. When I click open, this loads, it wants to load a whole family of different size doors. That's fine. I can load in the whole family, or I can say, you know what, I want a door that is 3 feet wide by 7 feet tall, and this is the door right there. 3 feet wide is good for handicap accessibility and stuff like that, so I'm going to go with a door that can be used for that. Click OK, and then you'll see the door get updated over here. And if I hover over empty space or in the middle of a room, I get kind of that Ghostbusters, like you can't do that symbol. But if I go over to the actual wall, you can see where the door actually is going to pop in place. So I'm going to pop it in place right there. All right, there's some arrows here and here. And those arrows are going to flip the door different directions. So if I click on this arrow, it'll flip it to the inside open swing. If I click on the sideway arrow, it'll flip it to swing over here. I'm going to keep it right there in that orientation. All right. I still have a door. I could pop in a bunch of other doors, or I can hit escape 2 times to drop that tool. So that's how you would do a door. This is also how you would do a window, except you'd click on window, go to the Imperial Library, look for windows, and choose windows, and you could pop windows anywhere you want. All right, you put interior doors in here as well, the same way. All right, the last thing I'm going to show you is components, so like a bed or a kitchen, cabinets, or anything like that. So I'm going to click on architecture component, load family, and in this case I'm going to go down to furniture. Where is furniture? There it is, furniture, beds, and I'm going to click on a preview. I like this shaker style bed, so I'm going to double click the shaker bed. Alright, as I drop this bed in, I can also see how big my rooms are and if they will accommodate that piece of furniture, and it looks like it will here. So I'm going to drop and hit escape 2 times. If I wanted this bed to be rotated, I can highlight it, and then there's a rotate tool right here, and then I get this little line that goes all the way around. If I stop at 3 o'clock, let's say, and then I rotate it down to 6 o'clock in the orientation, right there, that will rotate my bed 90 degrees. Okay, go back to your 3D mode to preview it, and you can kind of take a peek down in there and see the stuff you've inserted into your house. So play around inserting other components into your empty space to check it out. That's it.